Hi Gary. If I look pissed off, it's because this is the third fucking time I've had to record this. First time I just made a hash of it, how you do? Well, I do. And then the second time, I thought I'd got it right, and talked and talked for 20 minutes. Then went to switch it off. It wasn't recording. Anyway, I might as well be honest and admit that in those recordings that we didn't record, I was basically saying, I was preempting, I was guessing that I was about to do these experiments. You wanted to do the microwave polarizer test experiment. You wanted somebody to do that. You questioned whether or not you questioned whether or not it had already been done, and said it would confirm, that your theory about polarization, which I confess I didn't fully watch, at the time. You have to go back and watch it now, because it turns out I was wrong. I was anticipating that I'll do this, the three polarizer test you were talking about, weren't you? The one where you have polarization filter that way and that way, then you stick the third one in between at 45 degrees, and hey presto, it lets through the signal again, or the light again, the microwaves or whatever. Well, guess what? Doesn't fucking work, does it, with microwaves? And I fully admit, because it's important to be as honest as we can afford to be, that I was expecting it to work exactly the same as visible light filters. It doesn't. Let me down, didn't it? Science had let me down. I was fucking wrong. It's not nice being wrong, is it? I don't like being wrong. Nobody likes being wrong, really. But I thought, well, at least this instance illustrates that I'm trying to be honest. Like when I did the experiment at Christmas, and you thought, I think you probably thought I was deliberately making a hash of it, to prove you wrong or something. No, I was just at the end of my tether because I was overworked, really. I've got a lot of stuff on my plate, and I'd put a lot more effort in than I think you realise. And complicated story, but yeah, so I think you seem to take umbrage thinking that I'd messed the experiment up to sort of, prove you wrong, and just to get a certain outcome. That wasn't the intention at all. The intention was just to do it, and to see what happened, really. Although, same as in this case, I wasn't expecting the result that you expected. I was expecting the result I did get, at least then anyway. But in this case, same again. I was expecting, I predicted a result and I was wrong. You were right. The result you predicted was right. It doesn't work. You don't, when you put the third filter in the middle. It doesn't let through the microwaves again. I suppose I better show you, really. I will in a second, but yeah. I should point out I'm dog tired. I'm in a can't be bothered mood, really, if you know what I mean. It might show, because about 14 hours ago, I remember being absolutely dog tired, holding a baby, my friend's baby, thinking, please let me go home and go to sleep. I'm absolutely exhausted, and when you feel like you could pass out because you're that exhausted. But unfortunately, because my friend is ill, I had to try and just brave it out, keep going, and then end up coming home to try and do a bit of work that I'd missed out on towards this rewire that I'm having to do myself because the landlord isn't bloody doing it. Long story. an hour later I was called away again back to baby house, and still hadn't had any sleep. And I went shopping for them. I walk it there and back, carrying heavy bags, which I like doing, as I noticed. I can drive, but I don't like driving. I'd rather walk. You know, I don't have a car anyway. But even when somebody lends me a car or says, "You want me to give you a lift," I always turn them down, even if it's raining. Even if it's raining, I like walking because that's when I can do my thinking. So in the past, I've gone down, walking down the road, thinking, well, if the subject on my mind happens to be polarization, I've gone along, walking along, thinking, assuming that polarization filters for microwaves work exactly the same as they do for visible light polarizing filters, and clearly they don't. Very disappointing. I'm not a genius after all. Right, so anyway, all I'm saying is I'm dog fucking tired. 2 in the morning. Should we go in bed? Because no doubt at about 9, 10 o'clock she'll ring me saying, "Can you come and hold baby for a bit? I'm still feeling unwell and I need to do something with it." So I'll end up being with the baby all day. It's hard work. Babies are really hard work because you can't just, don't let you just get on with your life. You've got to constantly, you can't just sit and watch them do what they want to do. You've got to constantly stop them falling over, stop them hurting themselves, stop them eating fluff. You got to feed them actual food. You got to clean them. You got to clean the bottoms, change the diapers. I think you call them nappies. We call them here. Change the clothes, take them for a walk, feed them, drink them. Laugh with them, make them laugh, make them happy, and get them to sleep and keep them asleep as long as you possibly can. And it turns out I'm quite good at it. I didn't think I would be, but so I am loving it, even though it's fucking hard going. Such a gorgeous little baby. Oh, I should have been a dad, shouldn't I? But unfortunately, I don't think I am. Awkward subject now. Well, I'm not the dad of this baby. But you gotta be careful what you say, aren't you? Because you can give people the wrong idea. What you're on about? No, for God's sakes, no. Anyway, yeah. Edit. Right. Pick me nose. Yeah. I'm also quite depressed because of the fucking state of the world. The state of the world. The bollocks people just talk without. See, at least I'm willing to do experiments like this. I mean, at least I'm willing to sort of spend a bit of money. Oh, mattress. At least I'm willing to spend a bit of money on doing experiments like this. You know, but most people just want to talk about climate change and all that shit without looking any deeper than surface. You know, they just want to read about it, don't they? And say, oh, then pontificate. Read, then pontificate for 6 fucking years about it. Don't need to do any more reading. Don't need to do any checking. Don't need to do any experiments yourself to determine whatever you possibly can determine at home. Sorry, I'm probably talking gibberish because I'm just so tired. Anyway, yeah, it's annoying when I press record, and I did quite a good job then, for me anyway. And now I came to play it back, and I hadn't pressed record. Sorry, I hadn't done a good job. Yeah, anyway, do we need to switch this frigging thing on? I suppose I better do it, hadn't I? Bite the bullet. Right. Don't put that down there. Right. Now, that is a microwave polarizing filter for 10 gigahertz, yes. As you described, the bars, you know. quite simple. And this is a hamster cage. Part of. Yeah, so, well, I thought, well, I want to use the hamster cage for microwave experiments because the width of these bars is almost identical to the width of these bars. So I shot the hamster and pinched the cage off him. No, I'm just kidding, I didn't shoot him. Hit him with a mallet. Oh, Steve, you were so funny. Right, oh, let's just get going. So, switch that machine on. So I've not got the camera so you can see what I'm switching on here, but this is a Klystron reflector type. Klystron reflector type microwave transmitter. Similar to the ones I used previously, but this one uses valves, or thermionic valves as we'd call them in Britain, and you'd call them tubes in America. So the same principle as usual. So that's the transmitter one. That's transmitting 10 gigahertz. Actually, it's a bit less than 10 gig. This is the meter receiving it. But I'm feeding out of the meter into this little valve amplifier. Okay. I've put it on at a different angle. Obviously, that's the polarizations are out of whack there, aren't they, by 90 degrees? So we get nothing. Yeah. Now, put the filter in the middle, in that orientation, and it blanks it out completely. Yes. Even if I turn that way, now we've blanked out the signal completely. Yes. Now, but that way it lets it through. You can't hear me. That way it lets it through, obviously. Blocks, lets through. But that way it's blocked anyway because they're out of whack. So, if I turn this to 90 degrees, now it does work in that context. This does work the same as, or similar to, the visible light filters. That which can't get through now can, or 50% of it roughly, I suppose. Sorry, I've not got the meter actually connected up. I've bypassed the meter on this, so I can't take a reading. But put that way just to block it out. So it's 2 in the morning. I don't want the neighbours to get upset at me. So put my glasses on. I can't see what the fuck I'm doing. So I'll put one filter that way. See, just to show you, it works almost as well as the proper filter. These gaps are a little bit wider, not much, so some signal gets through. Right. Now, put this that way. So now the cross. Well, that blocks properly anyway, doesn't it, that way? Now put them so that, can you see, it's not letting any through now. So we've got that one going that direction and that one going that direction, yeah? Now, I take this third one, which is Hammy the hamster's door. He'd be furious if he was still alive. And I put that in at 45 degrees. If anything, it helps block it some more because it's adding a little bit of, it's improving the second filter really, if anything here, because this isn't a perfect filter. But anyway, 45 degrees. It's certainly not letting any through, is it? I've tried changing distances. That makes no sodding difference, really. So you're right. Turn it off a minute. Oh, my legs, God, I'm knackered. Oh, fuck right. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm fucking old before my time, aren't I? Yeah, I might as well switch this off. You've got the gist, haven't you? It's not, I'm not going to do any more of that tonight. That's what I'll do for now. Oh. Okay, I think I'll stop that and see if this video's worth uploading. Probably isn't really. I just don't know. It's rough and ready, but so what? All you want to do, you only want it to see that you're right, don't you? Just, I'm sure you'll be just happy to be confirmed right. I want to add a bit more to the story. It just crossed my mind when I was watching back, checking what I'd recorded. It just crossed my mind. I wonder if I was thinking, you know, when you actually see the experiment done with the triple polarizer thing, triple polarizer paradox. When you see that done with light polarizing filters, the filters are always, they're never separated by a distance, are they? They're always like sandwiched together, like nice and flat together. So I thought maybe that's the answer. Maybe if I sandwich these filters together, yeah, as close as I can get them. Nah, makes no difference. No, so that isn't the answer. I'd love to know what the answer is, though. I'll have another listen to your explanation. Even though I have to be honest, I wasn't buying into it. I suppose because it's right from the off, our theories clash. So it's obviously I'm not going to be as receptive to your explanation because I have to immediately just demolish everything I've concluded. Now, everything I've concluded might be wrong, but equally, I have to take the view that it's possible that everything you've concluded could be wrong, and that there's some other explanation as to why we're getting a different result. And on this, I mean, anyway, it was a bit too late, to be honest, for me to be thinking. These things take time, so I'll give it plenty of thought over the next day or 3 or 30 or 3 years, and hopefully eventually come up with answers that satisfy me. And if they happen to be the answers that you have already come up with, fantastic, for you. Annoying for me, because that means I have to then rip up my theory and say it's not a theory anyway, it's just a hypothesis. But obviously we all want our hypothesis to be right. We don't want to have to rip it up and say, oh well, so and so was right after all. But if we have to, don't we? Anyway, in the meantime, I'm just gonna shut up for a minute. I really do need to go sleep, don't I? So I think I may have sussed out the answers to why I was getting well, from my perspective, a bad result. From your perspective, it's a great result, but I think the reason is this. I think in the case of light, when they do this experiment with light, the 3 polarizer filter thing, the light that's going into the first filter isn't already polarized, is it? It's a mixture of polarizations. So the light that goes out of the first filter is then converted to one particular polarization, let's say that way, vertical. Then they put it through a second filter, horizontal. So oh yes, so that then blocks out the light of the vert. Yeah, the horizontal one then blocks out the light of the vertical because vertical light can't pass through the horizontal. Yeah. Then they put the one in between the two, the 45-degree one, which has the effect of letting some light through again. Now, but the difference is what I've been doing with microwave filters, and this is why I don't think it's a valid comparison, is the light that's coming out of, don't have to unplug it, I'll use a different one just for example. Just imagine this is the transmitter. It's the same thing. This is a receiver, but just imagine it's the transmitter. Let's call it light as well, just to make it simple. The light coming out of this, let's say it's orientated horizontal, because that's where I've got that dot into it. Just hang on. If it's orientated horizontal, and I put a vertical filter in front of it, I blocked the output of the light. Now, it doesn't matter what angle filter I put after that, because the unit itself has already blocked out vertical. That's already gone. It's only letting out horizontal. But if I put a vertical filter, I block that horizontal light out, haven't it? It's gone. So the horizontal is gone. The vertical is gone. Well, there wasn't any vertical to begin with. And so now when I put a 45-degree filter after this, it's not going to do anything. So I'm struggling to explain my words. I think what I'm getting at in simple terms is the fact that it's already polarized one way, and I'm immediately blocking that right from the off. I suppose I didn't then, Steve. Suppose I let that through with the first filter. Yeah. Then blocked it with the second filter. Does that work? Well, let's try it. It's easy to just try things and think about them sometimes, isn't it? Yeah, look at the selling time. Yeah, look at my notes. No, you don't look at my notes. Don't look at my belly either. Where it's come to. Right, let's switch everything back on again. Move my bar of chocolate off the stuff. Very unprofessional, Steve. Turn that on the amplifier. Turn on the transmitter. Oh my god. Plug in this thing. Then I really am going to bed. Oh. Come on, Steve, you can do it. Right, okay, so we're on. Start again then. So, see, that blocks the filter, that blocks the light. Now, instead of doing it that way, let's start off with letting the light through that. I'm turning it away because It's a bit noisy. It's 3:10 in the morning. And then I put it through this one, which blocks it. Yeah? Well, almost completely blocks it. It's not a perfect filter, that one, is it? But anyway. I should imagine it was. Now does this. What will happen here? No. No, that. So the 45-degree one still can't. So let's think about this. So I've got light coming out of here, go through this filter. This filter might not as well not be there because it's letting it through. So this filter at the front, this one might as well not be there. I could move that for all the difference it would make. And then this one, I might as well replace that one because it's a better filter. A bit more efficient. It's not less than 10% through. So we've effectively gone back to where. See that's through it now at 45 degrees. Doesn't make any difference. On the other side, well, why would it? What I want to know is turn it up. What I want to know is if these, yeah, if the source wasn't already polarized. This is a rhetorical question. I don't know the answer. If the source was already polarized, if the source wasn't already polarized by its very nature, like say light from a light bulb, then the first filter would let it through, let some through, whichever way I orientated it. That would dictate its polarization. That would give it polarization. Then you see, that's the equivalent then. That's the equivalent then of just having that. A light bulb with one filter in front of it is the equivalent of just having that. Because this already effectively has a filter in front of it because it's already polarized one way. So imagine that this is a light bulb with one filter behind it, polarizing it that way, horizontal. And so then we come along and put a vertical polarizer behind it, and it blocks it, doesn't it? And then we come along, clever clogs, and put a 45-degree one between the two, like that. But if it was light, that lets it through. But I've just tried that, haven't it? And with this, and it didn't work. It didn't let it through. It didn't. The 45-degree one didn't correct the polarization. Didn't turn it to let this through. Is it possible that the efficiency of the polarizing filters is lacking compared to the visible light ones? If the bars were, say, well, a lot closer together, but without being thick bars, thin bars, but a lot closer together. Would that possibly work? See, one question is, oh. See, another problem is, see, the longer you think about these things, the more holes you find in the problem. A minute ago I said, 5 minutes ago I said, that this is the equivalent of having a light bulb with one horizontal filter in front of it. But the receiver, which this is really, I'm pretending that's the transmitter, but the receiver is also polarized. That is also like having an eyeball with horizontal filter over it. Yeah? So what we've already got when we point these things at each other, it's the equivalent of pointing, having a light bulb behind this, orientating it horizontally, and looking at it through an eyeball with one of them. So both of them have already agreed to match up, to line up, haven't they? The eyeball is wearing glasses like that, and the light bulb has got a filter in front of it like that. So they agree. And that explains why, when I then put a polarizer filter between just the two of these horns, that does let the light through. That does work. Yes. Because both the receiver and the transmitter are already polarized. So we have to put, so yeah, so the 45-degree one, yeah, so the 45-degree one, all, it's so late, I'm half 3 and I'm doctor. Been up for 20 hours and I was knackered to begin with. Oh, I don't have moan, do I? I've lost the thread though. I've lost the thread. Yeah, it's making sense now though. That the transmitter and the receiver are already polarized, so we only need then one filter in between the two to marry them where they aren't married already. So when I have the transmitter orientated, yeah, so when the receiver is orientated horizontally but the transmitter is orientated that way and nothing gets through, then I put the filter at 45 degrees between the two, in other words between the two horns, then it works. Let me double check that again. Let me just double check one last time, then I really am going bad. Switch that back on. Switch that bastard back on. Oh, I'm getting bored now. Let me turn this down. I'll just turn it down a bit because it's too loud. So, move that to one side. So really, the receiver has already effectively got a filter across it that way. The transmitter has already effectively got a filter across it that way. So when I put when I disorientate them, put them at 90 degrees the wrong way, then I put the 45-degree one in the middle. See, that way it's blocked, that way it's blocked, but halfway it does the usual thing, it lets 50% through. Can you hear me? So halfway it lets 50% through. So really, this is the equivalent of, yeah. So this is really the equivalent of the light experiment. One polarized that way, this one polarized that way, and then the 45-degree one in the middle. Ah, so now, yes. So if I put this way, yeah, I've got it now. Yeah. So that one goes that way. There. No, actually, I'll use I'll put the big one there. Right. Okay. So that's that one. That one. So that's that one there, filtered the way the receiver that way. Now, and this one is filtered that way. So they're opposite, right? You remember, because yes. So right, yeah. So we've got one filter one way, one filter the other way, and I put the 45-degree one in the middle. Ah. Yeah, and it lets it through. Yeah, that's why. It's lower volume because I've turned it down because it's 3:30 in the morning. Yeah. Well, I've got to say that's a relief. But it's I'm glad to have come to a conclusion that makes more sense to me anyway. It might not make. I feel mean now though because yeah, I feel mean now though because I feel like I've led you up the garden path a bit, but let me into with the first video saying yeah I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong now. See, this is the knot that ties you in this kind of stuff. See, I don't want to be, because I genuinely appreciate the work you do, Gary. Even though I disagree with you on quite a few things. But what I don't disagree with you about is more important than things. The things I agree with you about are more important than the things I don't disagree with you about. See, plus, I don't want to give idiots excuses to sort of rubbish your ideas. For stupid reasons. I've apologised in the past when I did a bit of that, but I was a bit of an idiot at first, and I apologise again. I'll keep apologising because I was an idiot. I need to turn this off. And that. Yeah, it's important that people are free to express themselves, their ideas, even if we disagree with them. I'm on about science, obviously. Yeah. Well, I think we have to try and support each other as far as we reasonably can, trying to expand our knowledge, not go down Ken Wheeler, stupid dreamy type ideas or scientifically garbage, and keep it real. Anyway, sorry if I've given you a lift and then dropped you again. That wasn't the intention. Hopefully that comes across. But for my selfish sake, I am glad, that I found an answer that makes me realise, that leaves me satisfied that I don't have to rip up my theory, my hypothesis. For me, my hypothesis still stands, Anyway. Unfortunately, I've got to tag this onto the video now. Anyway, good night, God bless and all that. I'll pass that in 3, crikey.